Have you ever noticed, maybe when you're getting ready for the day or just moving around your home, that your legs seem to have lost some of their old reliability? Perhaps as you stand up from your chair after coffee or walk to the mailbox, there's this subtle heaviness that creeps in, or a little tiredness that makes each step feel like more effort than it should, or even a slight unsteadiness that has you reaching for the wall or furniture just to feel secure. If you're over 60 and these moments have started happening more often, your legs tiring quickly when you stand to cook a meal, feeling wobbly after a short trip up or down a few stairs, or simply not giving you that solid, confident support they once did, then I really believe what I'm about to explain could be the gentle answer you've been looking for and a way to start feeling steadier again. This isn't about needing to exercise more intensely, digging deep for motivation that feels harder to find these days, or just accepting that this is how things are supposed to go as the years pass. More often than not, the quiet thing that's wearing down your legs is something as simple and everyday as the fruit you keep on your kitchen counter or in your fridge. Over the next 20 minutes or so, as we talk together like friends sitting at the kitchen table, I'm going to clearly name the 7 fruits that most often quietly sap leg strength in people over 60, explain in plain everyday words exactly why they have that effect, and share a practical, easy-to-remember plan that lets you keep enjoying fruit while supporting your muscles and balance instead of unintentionally making things harder. Before we go further, I'd really appreciate it if you could take a quick second to type a comment with your age and your favorite fruit to eat. It only takes a moment, but it helps you stay connected to your own body and notice how it might be responding as we go along. Once you understand how fruit can affect insulin levels, nerve signals, and the power in your legs, you'll have the clear knowledge to decide what to limit, how to adjust your habits, and which little shifts can bring back stronger, steadier legs in just a few weeks. Researchers at the University of California followed 480 adults for a full 10 years. They measured thigh muscle size and strength regularly and looked closely at how blood sugar behaved after meals. What they discovered was clear. People who had frequent sharp spikes in blood sugar after eating lost muscle in their thighs 27% faster than those whose blood sugar rose more gently and returned to normal more quickly. This might feel surprising because fruit has always been talked about as one of the best things you can eat, and you've probably included it in your meals for most of your life, thinking it was doing your body a favor. But the truth is that even natural sugar from fruit can slowly interfere with how muscles repair and stay strong when it comes in large, quick amounts, especially as our bodies become less adaptable with age. If you've ever had a piece of fruit or something sweet, and then not long afterward, noticed your legs feeling extra tired, heavy, or weak, like they just didn't have their usual energy, or felt dragged down when you tried to walk across the room or stand a little longer than usual, type the word tired in the comments right now, so I know this is matching up with what you felt yourself. What makes this even more confusing is that so many favorite fruits are loaded with potassium, which we all need. Bananas are probably the most famous example, but pineapple, mango, oranges, and cantaloupe have plenty too. Potassium is important. It helps nerves send clear signals so your leg muscles can contract and relax at the right times. Without enough, you'd feel weak or get cramps easily. But when you get too much potassium coming in every day, mostly from fruit, without the right balance from other foods, it can upset the delicate electrical balance that nerves depend on to work properly. Picture your nerves as fine electrical wires running all through your body. If too much potassium throws off the voltage, the messages to your leg muscles arrive slowly, weakly, or not quite in rhythm. Many people over 60 who eat high potassium fruit regularly start noticing their legs feel heavier as the afternoon goes on. They get more frequent cramps, maybe in their calves at night when they're in bed trying to sleep, or after sitting for a long time. Or certain areas of their legs feel numb or asleep, even though doctors say their circulation is fine. A study published in 2019 in the Journal of Geriatric Medicine looked specifically at adults over 65 and found that those getting high amounts of potassium, mainly from daily fruit, reported leg cramping episodes about 18% more often than people who kept their potassium intake more moderate. So something that feels perfectly healthy and good for you when you're 35 or 45, can quietly begin to cause problems for your legs by the time you're 70. Fiber plays a huge role here too. When you eat whole fruit with its natural fiber, that fiber acts like a gentle speed bump, slowing sugar absorption so your muscles get a steady, manageable supply of energy instead of a sudden flood. Unfortunately, many popular ways of eating fruit today remove or greatly reduce that protective fiber. Fruit juice has almost none left after it's pressed. Dried fruits like raisins, dates, or apricots pack the sugar tight while cutting the fiber way down per bite. Smoothies break the fiber into tiny pieces, so it doesn't slow absorption the way chewing whole fruit does. It's almost like trying to water a plant by blasting it with a high-pressure hose instead of using a gentle watering can. The plant gets swamped and can't take it in properly, and a lot just runs off. When your muscles face that kind of sugar overload, insulin shoots up sharply, muscle repair gets put on hold, and fatigue builds up in your legs, often showing as that heavy, worn-out feeling by mid-afternoon or evening. In a 2021 research project in Europe, scientists followed 320 older adults and compared how their bodies handled fruit with plenty of fiber versus fruit with low or reduced fiber. The low-fiber group had post-meal insulin jumps 40% higher, and after 3 months, they actually measured a clear decrease in quadriceps strength. That's exactly why paying attention to how much fiber stays in your fruit, when you eat it, and what you eat it with becomes so important. Most everyday nutrition tips don't go into these finer practical points. Then there's anabolic resistance, which becomes more obvious after 60. It means muscle tissue gets less efficient at using the protein you eat to rebuild and maintain itself. You might be making an effort to include good protein like eggs, chicken, fish, or yogurt. But if your blood sugar is spiking frequently from sweet fruits or other sources, those spikes can interfere with how well the protein gets put to work. Imagine trying to plant a flower bed, but someone has poured concrete over the soil first. The protein is the flower trying to nourish your muscles, and the repeated sugar surges are what harden everything up. Scientists at Boston University studied this carefully and found that older adults with regular sharp increases in blood sugar after eating showed muscle protein synthesis, the process of building new muscle tissue, 32% slower compared to people who kept their insulin responses more controlled. When you put all these pieces together, the extra sugar in today's fruits, the high potassium in many popular choices, the loss of fiber in how we prepare them, and the natural changes in insulin sensitivity and muscle responsiveness that come with age, it creates this hidden, ongoing drain on leg strength that most people never connect to their daily fruit habit. If any of this is sounding familiar, if your legs sometimes feel heavy, wobbly, or unusually tired after you've had fruit, feel free to type the word balance in the comments so I know you're recognizing your own experience. You might be wondering why some older folks seem to eat fruit every day and still keep good leg strength and steady balance. The difference almost always comes down to having an effective strategy rather than just eating fruit randomly throughout the day. And that's exactly what I want to share with you next. Let me tell you about Margaret, who was 71 when she first came to see me. She was a very independent woman who took real pride in looking after herself, especially her eating habits. Every single morning without fail, she would prepare a big, colorful bowl of fruit, sliced bananas, a generous handful of grapes, chunks of fresh pineapple, and ripe mango pieces. She felt good about starting her day that way and thought it was giving her the energy and vitamins she needed. But come early afternoon, usually around 2 or 3 o'clock, her legs would start feeling weak and unreliable. She began avoiding stairs whenever possible. She'd hold onto furniture or walls when moving through her house, and deep down she was starting to accept that maybe this was just what happened as you got older. When we sat down together in my office, she looked at me with genuine confusion and a little frustration in her voice. She said, "Dr. Kent, I really don't get it. Really don't get. Everyone tells me I eat so healthy, so why do my legs feel this heavy and tired all the time? I used to be able to do everything without thinking, and now I feel like I'm slowing down." We decided to try something different, using what I call the fruit protocol, which is really just a simple, memorable way to organize the best timing, the smartest food combinations, and sensible portion sizes. We took out those very sweet, high-sugar fruits she was used to, and instead introduced small amounts of lower sugar options like fresh berries and crisp green apples, but always eaten after she'd had some protein in her meal. We didn't make her give up fruit completely. We just changed how and when she enjoyed it. After only 3 weeks, she came back amazed at the difference. Her legs felt noticeably stronger and more dependable. She was able to go up and down stairs without needing to pause halfway. She could walk farther than before, without feeling exhausted, and she told me with a big smile and tears in her eyes, "For the first time in a long while, I actually feel like I can trust my legs to carry me where I need to go." My husband even noticed I was smiling more and moving around the house like my old self. When we measured her progress, her quadriceps strength, the power in the front thigh muscles, had gone up by 18%, her balance test scores improved 22%, and on a scale where she rated her daily fatigue from 1 to 10, she dropped from a 7 down to a 3. That kind of change in such a short time meant she was getting her independence and confidence back, and she felt like she had her life back in her own hands. Then there was Robert, a 74-year-old gentleman who really enjoyed his routine. Every morning he would blend up a big smoothie with a whole banana, lots of mango chunks, a generous splash of orange juice, and some yogurt to make it creamy. He looked forward to it as a healthy start and thought it was giving him a good boost for the day. But by mid-morning, often before lunchtime, his legs would start giving out on him. He'd feel them weaken to the point where he had to sit down sooner than he wanted, even after only light activity around the house. He kept thinking it was simply age catching up with him, and there wasn't much to be done. When we talked it through, he told me, "Dr. Kent, by 10 o'clock my legs just give out and I have to sit down. I thought it was just old age and I'd have to live with it." We made a few straightforward swaps. We stopped the morning smoothie habit altogether because it was delivering too much sugar too fast first thing in the day. Instead, we moved a modest portion of fruit to come after his lunch, always alongside some protein, and we focused on choosing berries that kept more of their natural fiber. Within 4 weeks, he was amazed at how much better he felt. He could go out for 30-minute walks every day without having to stop and rest. He managed stairs without leaning heavily on the handrail, and he described his leg energy as having improved by about 60% compared to before. He said with a big grin, "I can finally play with my grandkids without having to sit down every 10 minutes, and I feel like myself again." When we checked the science-based measures, his muscle protein synthesis rate, the speed at which his body was building and repairing muscle, had increased by 25% from where it started. Stories like Margaret's and Robert's show very clearly that the goal isn't to eliminate fruit from your life completely. It's about learning to choose the right kinds, eat them in reasonable amounts, and time them thoughtfully so they support your body instead of quietly working against it. So now let me walk you through the exact approach I guide my patients to follow, something I've named the fruit protocol, because the word itself helps you remember the main points. The F stands for fruit pairing, meaning you always eat your fruit together with some source of protein or healthy fat. This simple combination dramatically slows down how quickly the sugar enters your bloodstream and helps shield your muscles from those sharp insulin rises. Researchers at the University of Sydney ran experiments showing that when people ate berries alongside Greek yogurt, the insulin spike after the meal dropped by a full 50% compared to eating the berries by themselves. You can do something as easy as having a small handful of blueberries with about 10 almonds, or maybe half a cup of cottage cheese with a few sliced strawberries. The very same berries eaten alone on an empty stomach could cause enough of an insulin reaction to interfere with muscle maintenance and repair over time. Try this with your lunch by adding a small apple after your chicken salad, or with dinner by having berries after your fish. The protein acts like a buffer so the sugar releases slowly, your insulin stays steady, and your legs don't get that tired, heavy feeling later in the day. This pairing helps your legs feel lighter, stronger, more steady, less fatigued, and gives you more confidence in your everyday movements. The R is for right portion, and this is really important because the fruits available now carry much more natural sugar per bite than they did decades ago. Keeping servings small makes a big difference. Think half a cup of berries at a time, or just one small apple rather than a large one. Big fruit bowls, especially first thing in the morning, or fruit-heavy smoothies can easily deliver far more sugar than your aging muscles are ready to handle comfortably. Usually, one modest serving of fruit spread across the day gives you all the vitamins and micronutrients you need without overloading your system. This keeps your blood sugar gentle, protects your muscles from overload, and lets your legs stay energized instead of drained. HU stands for understand timing, and this might be the single biggest game changer for many people. Try to eat fruit after you've already had a meal that includes protein and some fat, never first thing on an empty stomach or right before eating other foods. When fruit comes after other food, the blood sugar rise stays much gentler. Your energy levels hold steady instead of crashing later, and your leg muscles stay better protected from the negative effects. So rather than starting your day with a fruit smoothie, consider having eggs with some vegetables or a piece of whole grain toast with avocado. Save those berries for an afternoon snack paired with a few nuts or a little plain yogurt. That shift in timing alone can make your legs feel lighter and more energetic through the rest of the day, helping you walk farther, stand longer, and feel more confident in your movements. I stands for insulin awareness, which means staying mindful of how certain choices affect your blood sugar and, in turn, your muscle health. Pay attention to the signals your body gives you. Maybe your legs feel heavier than usual, you get more cramps than normal, or fatigue creeps in sooner after eating fruit. Those are valuable clues telling you that sugar might be impacting your muscles more than you'd like. Older adults who started keeping track of those post-fruit feelings and then made small adjustments to their timing and portions often saw their leg strength improve about 18% faster over a 4-week period than those who didn't monitor and adapt. You can do this by noting in a simple notebook how your legs feel 1 hour after fruit, or just paying attention during your daily activities. Finally, T is for test and observe, which brings everything together into a practical trial you can do yourself. I usually suggest starting with a 2-week experiment where you completely step away from the highest sugar fruits that tend to cause the most trouble. Things like bananas, bunches of grapes, mangoes, fresh pineapple, watermelon slices, any dried fruits such as raisins or apricots, and all fruit juices. In their place, bring in small controlled portions of gentler options like various berries, green apples that are less sweet, or kiwi fruit, but always make sure to pair them with some protein and eat them after a meal rather than on their own. During those 2 weeks, pay close attention to how your legs feel. Note any changes in strength when you stand up or walk, how steady your balance seems, whether fatigue comes on earlier or later in the day, and how much overall confidence you have in your movements. This short trial usually reveals very clearly why certain seniors manage to stay strong and mobile well into their later years. They've naturally fallen into patterns that match this fruit approach through careful timing, smart combinations, and keeping portions reasonable even if they never called it a protocol. When people follow these steps consistently, the improvements tend to build in a very predictable way. During the first week or so, most notice a subtle but welcome lift in their daily energy, and their legs start feeling a little lighter right after meals instead of weighed down. By the end of the second week, that sense of fatigue begins to fade noticeably, and they feel more secure taking short walks or moving around the house without second-guessing their balance. Moving into weeks 3 and 4, the changes become easier to measure and feel. Leg strength picks up enough that climbing a flight of stairs feels less daunting. Standing for longer periods doesn't tire them out as quickly, and overall mobility starts feeling more reliable. After about 4 weeks and continuing onward, the gains tend to settle in for the long term. Leg strength holds steady or even keeps improving slowly. Balance becomes noticeably better in everyday situations, and the worry about falling starts to fade into the background. This kind of progress doesn't come from forcing yourself to do more intense workouts every day. It comes from deliberately stopping the hidden habits that were quietly wearing down your muscles without your knowledge. I want to be very straightforward about some important precautions so you stay safe while making these changes. The fruit protocol is a helpful dietary strategy designed to support muscle health and mobility, but it is not a replacement for medical treatment or a guaranteed cure for conditions like sarcopenia or any other chronic health issue you might have. Never stop taking any medications your doctor has prescribed without first talking it over with them and getting their clear approval. If you live with kidney problems, diabetes, very strong insulin resistance, or any other serious medical condition, please check in with your physician before you adjust your fruit intake or make other dietary shifts. The smartest way to begin is slowly and carefully. Pick just one part of the protocol to focus on at first, get comfortable with that change, then gradually add the others. Keep listening to what your body tells you through feelings like leg heaviness, unexpected cramps, or shifts in energy levels. Those signals are your best guide to whether the adjustments are helping. Taking things step by step and staying attentive helps your body adapt smoothly and reduces any chance of discomfort. Here's something I'd like you to consider trying. Choose just one single element from the fruit protocol that feels doable for you. Maybe it's always pairing fruit with a little protein, or shifting fruit to after meals instead of first thing, or simply keeping portions smaller, and stick with that one change every day for a full 30 days. At the end of that month, I'd love it if you'd come back here, leave a comment, and let me know exactly what happened. Tell me your age, which part of the protocol you focused on, which fruits you decided to adjust or replace, and most importantly, how your legs felt differently, whether they got lighter, stronger, less tired, or gave you more confidence moving around. Your legs have supported you through so many years of life, through good times and challenging ones, and they truly deserve the chance to feel strong and reliable again, instead of being quietly undermined by those unexpected sugar effects. Take just a moment now to gently move your legs or shift in your seat, and notice how they feel supporting you right this second. If they're feeling less dependable than you'd like, what we've talked about today gives you a practical, gentle path forward. With these small, thoughtful changes to how you enjoy fruit, you can help your legs regain that sense of strength, steadiness, and trust that makes daily life so much easier and more enjoyable. I'm really looking forward to hearing how it goes for you, and next time we'll explore 5 foods that many seniors overlook, but that can make a surprising difference in keeping balance strong as the years go by. Take good care of yourself until then.